If you're looking to maximize profit in a competitive niche, then this video is for you. In today's video, we're here with Brandon Young, the CEO of DataDive and the Ecom Brand Builder Launchpad's platinum sponsor. And today, we're going to be using DataDive to really break down the entire market and understand where the revenue is coming from. So what we've done in this video is we've taken over 20 of our top competitors, and what we wanted to do was create an even playing ground and look at each competitor from a high level to understand what each competitor is doing to drive sales. This video is jam-packed with a ton of value, going through multiple different tools and deep dives within DataDive to ultimately help us come to a conclusion on how we can best position our travel organizer for our brand Voyaj. Now, this video was extensively long because it was so jam-packed with value that we're gonna be breaking this up into a two-part series. And in the second part, we're actually gonna break down the product scorecard tool DataDive has to really conceptualize if our product is a winning product in the first place.
All right, guys. This product looks pretty interesting to begin with. I think I have some travel products that I've been selling for many years. And I think that what's great about the travel niche is that there's many different ways people use to call the products. In DataDive and in what we teach, we call that root words. But I wanted to dive specifically the type of product that you're looking to disrupt. I think that some of the value adds and your unique selling propositions are pretty cool. But we also want to make sure that we're aware of all the different ways people are searching so that you optimize the listing. And we want to do a true evaluation as to the risk of the product. So what I want to do is run through what our analysis of that niche looks like, talk about how DataDive helps you look at it, and then also answer some questions on the scorecard that we've put together, which we call the product scorecard, which basically outlines about traffic and some of the other cool things that you'll see. So let's jump in. All right. So what I did is I found 28 competitors that are in this like hanging travel shelves space. Now, remember, so many different ways to call this product. Some people call it a hanging jewelry bag, a hanging travel bag, right? We're going to get into some of those. So what I did is I had to go through and look at multiple keywords and multiple ways people are positioning their own products. Because the mistake a lot of people make when you go through the trouble of trying to analyze a niche is that you'll only look at one keyword. Now, the problem with that is that a lot of these sellers aren't going to show up on that keyword. They're going to be on a different set of keywords because they're calling the product something different. But you won't get their data. You won't understand how they're getting sales, and you won't be able to take advantage of both keywords or three keywords or four keywords, different root words that people are using to find the product. And so by the time I got done spending about 10 minutes, 15 minutes really searching for this product in many different ways, some subcategories, I was able to find 28 sellers selling a similar product. So one of the things that we like to do is understand the value or like how good these sellers are at Amazon right off the bat before we really clean up the master keyword list. So I'm going to go to overview. And we're going to give some insights in here around if this market is growing. You'll see here that over the last few years, 3 years, you saw like this market really shrunk a little bit. The Amazon search volume for this type of keyword was going down. We're going to give you the ability to start adding additional keywords to pull trends from Google and from Amazon. But you'll see that it really spiked here in 2023. It seems like a lot of people are really starting to move into this market. Maybe there's some influencers that are promoting it. Maybe, it's a newer type of style or innovation or that hanging shelf, keyword in particular. So it looks like it's a trending up over the last year, down, then maybe back up for summer or for winter and then for summer again. So we'll see what happens in the coming year, but it's definitely up, which is good. We're also going to see that before I even bother cleaning up the master keyword list, you'll see how many keywords there are in the search volume. And right now I'm seeing 41 keywords. It's a little bit on the lower end, but I'm going to show you where there are more keywords because we have them broken down a little bit. And but there's still, even with 41 keywords, 119,000 search volume, which is pretty incredible. Now we've got outlier keywords and residue keywords we need to look at as well. So we really want to understand and answer the question, how are each of these sellers getting their sales? Some of them are moving a significant amount of units. For example, this guy is selling 10,000 units a month, right? And now what immediately strikes me interesting about this is that the next person is only selling 2,000, then it jumps down again to 700. So you want to know, why is Granny Says getting 10,000 sales, 5 times the next guy, and then this guy's getting 3 times the next guy, right? And then understanding how they're getting their sales will let you know whether it's duplicatable. So what can you realistically expect to achieve yourself based on their source of traffic, whether it's outside Amazon, it's branded search, it's influencers, they're a large brand, or whether it's sources of traffic on Amazon, which could be generic keywords. It could be keywords that are that only they can take advantage of, that you're not realistically going to be able to achieve as well, or whether they're just much better at Amazon than everybody else, right? And then you can come in and start to take some market share with something disruptive, a disruptive design or style or whatever you're going to do. So we really need to understand that mindset around what we're analyzing and how we're analyzing it. And we see that Granny Says here is, 10 times as many sales as everybody else, basically. And so we want us to understand, like, what are these keywords that they're doing well? And they're not really ranked that high on these keywords that are showing up here. They got a Spanish term. And if I sort by search volume, you'll see that they're not even indexed for SoulGuard. Well, this is a branded search, I imagine. So let's remove those. By hitting this little B button, you can remove the branded search buttons or keywords. And then I'm going to exclude this phrase, which is, again, looks like a brand name. And so I'm starting to clean up the list. And you'll see that I've excluded now 5 keywords. I've got these keywords here that I've removed. Pack Gear is a brand. That's a brand. And then as a phrase, I've removed that one with 6 keywords. SoulGuard seems to have a lot of branded search, which is something we need to be aware of, because, we want to see what that leads to and how we can compete with that.
Yeah. So SoulGuard in specific, Brandon, they're an off Amazon brand, actually. And they're definitely the ones that probably brought all of that search volume that you saw in the increase, because they launched a product that is in a way relevant, but nothing in comparison to what's on Amazon current state. But it's definitely bringing in a lot of demand, and they don't have a presence. So how would you approach that? I'd be curious to know, is that something that you would still target and take advantage of, or?
Well, we can scroll over and kind of look at them, right? We want to understand, once we really dig in and try to understand SoulGuard.
They're not actually on Amazon at all.
Oh, they're not here at all.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting, because you could probably target them. You can't write them into your listing and everything. We'll talk about how to approach SoulGuard, because I think that you want to index for them. They have keywords. You want to get sales from them. And so what I might do is just add them back in and then find out who's doing well on them, right? So I'll select them and then insert them back, those 6 keywords back in. Now, here's something that's really interesting here, is that this guy who's the best, right? He's got keywords that not a lot of other people are taking advantage of. And so we call these outlier keywords. And if you look here, there's 1.7 million search volume.
Wow.
81 keywords that this guy's taking advantage of, that maybe only 1 or 2 other sellers are taking advantage of. You'll see the relevancy on these keywords and these outlier keywords is lower. That doesn't mean it's not something you should also take advantage of, especially in an instance when you got a lot of different ways you call things. So this closet hanging shelf is interesting, because I think people will use that more in a permanent way than they will in a travel way, right? So if we go and look at, really what this product is, would you consider this someone that is a competitor to yours? Or are people traveling with this? Or is it something that they're keeping at the house and you don't want to add them to, that data? What's interesting about your product, in my opinion on this, is that your product is so similar in many ways that I would venture into this side of the market a little bit as well, and not be afraid of trying to play with some of these other keywords, these home storage, closet keywords, versus just the travel keywords, because maybe the functionality is so similar that you can get sales there too.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think our product is almost exactly that. The only difference that we have with it is the fact that it does pack into more of a travel size thing, But on top of that, one of the differentiation points that we added is an additional bar underneath where you can hang additional clothes, which this product doesn't have. And even from this, you don't have too much space to hang up everything beside this. So it also adds that additional lever of, in my point, a huge differentiation that you could easily use at home storage.
Right.
So positioning for both, I think is a no-brainer, because even just from an imagery standpoint, putting both of them, whether it be inside a closet or inside your suitcase, it will display the exact same thing as this product is right now.
And what's interesting, right, is that they've really lowered their price significantly, and it doesn't make a lot of sense because you get a 1-pack for $10 and a 2-pack for $22, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're not saving on the 2-pack the way you should, which is potentially an advantage to disrupt, but your product's going to be more expensive than theirs. So that will tell us right away that their conversion rate, their click-through rate is going to be higher than yours. They're going to be difficult to compete against from a standpoint of your performance, but that doesn't mean that you can't, take some market share from them. Some people don't want just the cheapest option possible because you do have that extra functionality that you can charge for, right?
Yep.
So I think that their pricing is wrong. They have an error there. Like a 2-pack of this one being $29 is sloppy when, let me see if the 1-pack is still $10. And they might have a loss leader. No, it's 15. So they might have a loss leader, like their hero being the gray, right? Showing up. And then that one's $10. And then they try to upsell to other colors. So some of these other colors might be more expensive. And then they make a margin there. And that's a very good strategy for variations that you guys should consider, right? One of the things that we're going to look at when we look at this table here, which is our deep dive, and what we're going to analyze is how many of these competitors have a lot of variations. And what that tells me when I see a lot of variations is that they are capturing more buyers, and their conversion rate will be higher because of that. So it's really important for you to also launch with variations if everyone that you're competing against has a lot of variations, right? Otherwise, your conversion rate will naturally be lower because there will be less people that land on it that want just the one option you have. And humans have a psychological need to shop. They have a psychological need to find the thing that they most like and feel like they've spent enough time browsing. It's just something that's wired into humans. So when you hit 4, 5, 6 variations that people can click around, they're satisfied enough to buy your product a large percentage of the time. And you usually see a large jump in conversion rates when you get to a certain amount of variation. It's not necessarily because they choose to have a different color. It's just that they browsed enough to satisfy that human need. So what we'll look at here is if I collapse all of these, right? Here, this button here. Now I can really understand what they're doing right and wrong from images too, right? So I can see this guy, he has one image for travel, but I don't think he's very good at Amazon, honestly, as far as images go. And we know he's not good at Amazon because of the fact that he's not doing a good job for the travel keywords, but he might still be doing a good job on the, the home keywords and the closet keywords. So we still need to analyze that. But anytime I see main image, lifestyle, and then very little infographics, it's just metrics. This is a listing that is not optimized at all. There is so much room for improvement from a content perspective that you can beat this guy. And it's interesting, like you've got some measurements and lifestyle here. This is another closet one, and then travel. So people tend to do the 2 best sellers, right? Seem to go closet functionality, then travel functionality as like the 2 biggest things. Whereas I think you could do a split image if you want to do functionality and satisfy. You could create an image that displays your extra functionality of that extra hook on the bottom that you're adding, but in a closet and in a travel suitcase at the same time, right? So you could combine these 2 images with no problem. And I think that's a better second main image than what these guys are doing. But, you can get deeper into learning. This guy stinks as well. It's just dimensions and lifestyle. It's not very good. So you're entering a market where it doesn't seem like you have a ton of competitors. This guy has a second image that, and I can make this bigger. Maybe a little bit, but you're entering a market where a lot of these images just aren't optimized. It's not really disrupted yet. So I like the fact that you have the ability to come into it and just do a significantly better job, which will raise your conversion rate and click-through rate. So if we go back over to the keywords, I think it's important that we look at a few things here. We're going to go back, and I want to analyze again those keywords and really understand how Granny Says is getting there. So we're going to go to Outliers, and I just want to sort by search volume first and see who's winning on the biggest keywords. Closet organizer, they're number 29, 700,000. They're not for packing cubes for travel. They're not indexed, and as a matter of fact, so Sir Blue is number 18 for packing cubes for travel. Normally there's a scroll bar, but they're number 8 for camper accessories. So they went after that camper market, and look how big that is. And you notice that their lifestyle image for the travel crowd was the camper.
Yeah.
Super interesting that they went that direction. And camper is a route, right? It's not what we would call a relevant route, but camper accessories would be a relevant route. If I search for camper accessories, I would find that, right? And that product. So I'll go through and show you the data. And so what we'd want to do is probably start adding some of these to the master keyword list that we really like, right? Like some of these are pretty good and probably you shouldn't ignore them. So we would click them, and you got hanging closet organizer, again, closet being a big one. And what we can do even is we can just do camper and see how many other camper keywords there are. And you'll see that only this guy's crushing camper as a route. And there's significant search volume amongst all of these things. Pop-up camper, but camper storage, camper must-haves, right? These are pretty good keywords. And then we found the closet keywords that are here. It's surprising that so many closet keywords are only being won by a bunch of these guys, because even when you travel, you put it in a closet, right?
Yeah.
So you can almost select all 100 and well, that's all 149. But going one by one matters, and you can add those to the master keyword list as well. And I think that that's important. So maybe we'll just get down here. I don't like shelf. I don't like maybe hanging closet's interesting. So you'd go through and really figure it out. That's not a keyword. Closet hanging shelves, suit bags for closet storage. That's not right. All right. Closet organizer with drawers. You don't really have drawers, right? Maybe.
Yep. No, we don't.
Yeah. And so closet organizer and organization and storage. I think that one's good. Hanging closet storage, small closet storage, closet organizers, and clothes hangers. You have clothes hangers. Yep. So, we would probably eliminate some of these, but I'm just to show you what my process would be. Now, once I feel like I've gone through all those keywords here and I'm happy, I would then look at the residue keywords. But what we're seeing is the story is starting to make sense. Remember, in the back of our mind, we're always trying to answer the story. How are all these competitors getting their sales? Can we duplicate that success? I'm not seeing anything that we can't duplicate, right? Like we can target camper accessories and camper, people that camp as an avatar. We can target the people that are going to use this in their home. It's not just a travel accessory, right? So that's another whole broad niche with tons of search volume that we should probably make sure that we don't ignore, and would give us an advantage over these other sellers that are just not taking advantage of it. Now, the other thing we're going to do is look at the residue keywords. The residue keywords will have a little bit more search volume as well. Sometimes, or a little bit more relevancy, usually a little bit lower search volume. And so we're just looking for these keywords, and you'll see that the reason that this guy's number 2 is he was really good at the keywords to do with travel, right? And now we've got he's just absolutely crushing all these long tail keywords. So as far as how good someone is at Amazon, just optimization wise, I would say this number 2 seller is better at SEO at $27.89, also 3 times the price. is better at SEO than any other seller in our master keyword list. So this guy in particular is just doing a really great job at that. Now, I think they can improve images. You can disrupt them, but they're on point with their messaging. And there's an opportunity for you to potentially target both campers, or all three: campers, closet, and travel, with 3 different variations, right? Because you could have a 2-pack, a 1-pack, you could have different colors, and you could have heroes that target those other variations. You'll see that the best seller here is gray. So maybe for travel, you use the black. And you just, your title is going to have all the travel route keywords. But for your home closet, you do gray as your hero, like this guy did, to compete with him, and you can just look significantly better, even if it's a little bit more expensive. And so now you're getting, as a parent listing, you're getting access to all of those traffic sources. They're going to come into your listing from those different root words. And so that's a strategy that I think a lot of people underutilize, is this variation strategy. Most sellers, they'll just write the same title for all variations. And that's a huge mistake. You want to get as much traffic sources and funnel people into your listing from as many different root words as possible. And Data Dive gives you access to really understand what are all these different ways people are looking for this product. Can you position your product in that way? Now, after launch, you might find that you don't convert as well or perform as well on some of these longer tail routes, or extreme cases you're targeting. Maybe campers don't really like yours for some reason, right? So you can adjust, you can pivot and adjust to a different root word that is converting at that time with that variation.
First of all, in my opinion, very, very valuable insights. Those are both things that we didn't even think of. So it was really cool to be able to see this from a high level. I think for the audience, one question that I want to ask is, what makes a keyword kind of go into the residue as opposed to the master keyword list? Is it purely search volume?
It's a combination of search volume and relevancy, right? So we do have some really big keywords here. So we have a filtering algorithm that we feel like this would be a relevant keyword. It's very large and it's a little bit more generic, right? But 1.3 million search volume for this on the like we put it in the residue. It's just significantly bigger than the rest of the keywords. So we'll put it here as an example. But we're also only seeing a 4 relevancy.
Got it.
So our algorithm, we're using some AI to really analyze these keywords to understand how relevant they are. If they're not that relevant based on what the functionality of the majority of the sellers are, they'll go on Outliers. If we feel they're too big or the relevancy is even lower, like there's another way that we filter into residue. The majority of the residue will be based on having just, a lower search volume though.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah. And so it's important you look at all 3 sources. Like if you really want, closet storage is very generic, right? Portable closet, super generic, not relevant. Clothes organizers and storage, somewhat relevant, but not really, right? So a lot of these you're going to have trouble, and maybe your PPC won't convert as well, your performance, and this is just going to eat your budget like crazy. This is a big bid, a lot of search volume. And I'd really want to just go and look at it and be like, all right, do I really compete? Like you got cubes here, you got hanging cubes. Here's our Granny Says, right? Here's Storage Works, but these are all sponsored. So as far as organic, we've got cubes and we've got under sink stuff and, hanging shelves. And, we're not, we've finally got a couple here with Storage Works that we can compete with, and the price point seems all right. And so we really need to understand, are we able to duplicate that? This keyword in particular, I'd probably try, but be very careful on the budget on launch because of the fact that it's so fast moving, and I'm not sure. And if we move this over, it's going to become by far like the most, the biggest keyword. Now, if we go back to the product, or we go to the product scorecard, I think that we should run through that really quickly. Oh, let me go to the roots. I think the roots are important. So this is what we were talking about before. Now, if it's one word, you'll see that there's no color. If it's two, it's a light green. If it's three, it's darker, right? And then what we're trying to do is just show you the repeated words and phrases throughout the master keyword list so you can understand the frequency and the broad search volume and the importance of each of those. Now, what we're looking for are going to be generic root words that if we go search it, we would show up. So I think closet organizer counts, and it's the biggest one. There's 9 keywords with a combined 945,000 search volume. I don't think we're a packing cube. And as a matter, well, are we a packing cube? That's the question, right?
I'd say that we would be an option of a packing cube. I think the utility and the end goal of what our product is and a packing cube, it's the same. It's to organize clothing in some form or fashion to put it into a suitcase. I don't see a lot of relevancy in regards to the product though. Like you pulled this up, you only see packing cubes per se. And you know, that worries me a little bit, but also see it potentially as a potential opportunity. There we go. We have Pack Gear. They're trying to rank for it, but for the most part, there's little to low relevancy for our specific variation. But again, utility is fairly similar.
Yeah, and I think that as a route I would avoid. It's a big one, but I think that's the one I would probably replace with closet. Because I think that what you're doing is you're going up against people are looking very specifically for those bags. Now, hanging packing cube maybe, right? I think the hanging is going to be big, but hanging by itself is not a relevant route, right? There's 23 keywords that have hanging in it with 286,000 search volume. And so the closest thing with hanging in it is hanging closet, which has 4 and 124,000. And I think we brought that over, but we also have hanging shelf. So if I look at, let me see, packing cube travel, yeah, hanging closet, hanging shelf, and closet storage, closet organizer storage. Here's your soul guard, right? 6 keywords, 52,000. And this you said is a competitor that doesn't sell on Amazon, and you're finding that people are targeting them with backpacks, with Samsonites on their keyword.
Yeah, so they have a full-on luggage brand. So they sell luggage, but then they also have this product that essentially is our product, but instead of it going into a closet, it actually clips onto the handle. So when you put your handle up on your suitcase, you can actually clip on there, and then it's this little closet organizer. But it can also go inside a closet as well.
So you pull the handle up like this one is, and then you can hang it from here. Is the functionality of it?
Exactly.
Here's Pack Gear again, targeting them. Yeah, so I did see a few competitors. Expandable, foldable luggage, suitcase collapsible. It's interesting. Yeah, so there are enough competitors here that I think SoulGuard as you know would be something. This carry closet would be something I'd probably want to make sure you target. Closet luggage. It's a weird keyword. You've got a few competitors here. This seems like something that would be somewhat relevant, but not very, right? Carry closet hanging, not a relevant route, because if I search that, it could be anything, even though it'll probably bring our stuff up. But that phrase doesn't make sense, right? And then here's a hanging packing cube. This is the most relevant. But sometimes when you get down here and you see more and more relevant stuff, and you have the search volume is significantly less than some of these, you know, bigger keywords, and you see closet is big. We didn't even bring everything over from closet. Just, you know, there are 37 keywords. Travel's a fourth the search volume. It's like 25% of the search volume of closet. So we start to understand what's most important. Camper was good. We brought those over. That was also significant. So just from an audience perspective, we can look at routes and start to understand who's buying it. Is it travelers? Is it home storage? Is it campers? And that allows us to really understand what is the avatar we need to focus on the most there as well. And so now we really have an understanding. How are the competitors getting their sales? How good are they at Amazon? I love products like this that you guys have chosen that have many different ways people are calling it. The reason is because we're good at finding those ways and optimizing for those ways, and most sellers are not. So when you go back to that master keyword list and you look at, the sales, and you go one by one and you ask, how is this guy getting his sales, right? And he's number 2 for the SoulGuard keyword and SoulGuard. So Pack Gear seems like they're getting the majority of their stuff from not from SoulGuard keywords, but also, let's see, number 6 for carry-on closet, closet suitcase, and closet suitcase, and then hanging travel organizer, hanging pack cubes. But look at all this green in here is because they're not indexed for everything else.
And that's what SoulGuard actually calls their product. It's a carry-on closet. So yeah, they're very much, by looks of it, focusing on anything relevant to that brand off of Amazon, which is interesting to see.
Yeah, and then you'll see here that they are, here's their ranks of where they're getting their sales.
I am very fascinated. I didn't even think of camping in this realm, and it's so cool to see a lot of the competition going after these camping keywords.
Yeah, I think so too. And what's interesting is, like, you've got all these that we consider outliers because this bestseller, Granny Says, is the only one taking advantage of all these big closet keywords, right? And packing cubes for travel, they're not on, but somebody else is. Because they're the travel ones, maybe we get rid of the cubes, but we'll see. Yeah, it's interesting to see how everyone's getting their sales. And as you go down in search volume, you see that these guys get better because they're focusing on the specific niches that have the lower search volume. But these guys are just hitting these massive keywords. And that's kind of where you want to start to focus, right? Is, can I achieve that? Can I achieve it? And I think you might not get to 10,000 sales a month because they're selling at $10. Their product's different. It converts well on a lot of keywords that you might not because of the price point. But do I think you can beat Tabatora? Yeah, I think you can beat Tabatora. Can you beat Pack Gear? Yeah, I think you can beat Pack Gear. And so, that's when you start to answer the question, what am I aiming for? Am I aiming, like, realistically, am I going to be the 3rd best? If I execute well, am I going to be the 5th best? And I think you're playing for 2nd here, which is great. And you've got a clear path to really selling, 75 units a day, 100 units a day.
And that's a cap. Like I said, this is a 2-part series, so stay tuned. We're gonna be dropping part 2 where we break down the product scorecard for our product. And if you guys saw value in Data Dive's product, I'm telling you guys, they're doing some next level things when it comes to analysis for products on Amazon, ultimately minimizing risk and increasing your profits. If you're interested to do a demo or learn more about the tools, go ahead and hit the link below.